Good morning and welcome back to another video. I've never done a video like this where I've just sat down, done my makeup, and just talked. There's so many things that I always want to talk to you guys about, but I never want the clips to be long and boring, so I thought I would just have a whole sit-down video explaining everything while I get ready for the day, do my makeup. I straighten my hair. I haven't really gotten cute and dressed up and did my hair in a while, so I thought this would be a good time while I'm still getting settled into my house. Don't mind that there's no decor in the background. If you've been keeping up, then you know that I have just moved into this house like a week and a half ago, and I feel like we have a lot of catching up to do. I don't know if I've ever really explained the reasons why I left LA to come to Oregon, and it may seem very obvious. Like, the very obvious reason is because I am not living with my boyfriend, but we will go into that in the video. So let's go ahead and do my makeup and get ready for the day. Go ahead and put this video on in the background. If you're not a sit down type of video, then stay tuned for next week's vlog, I guess. But if you are here for the ride, welcome. So to start out, yes, I have moved to Oregon officially. Like, I have my driver's license, my license plates all in Oregon. I am an Oregonian again. I was actually born here in Oregon, in Bend. Actually, I live in Bend now, so I was born in Bend. We moved around to like Redmond, like some of the smaller towns around here, but I have mostly lived here my whole life up until high school. I went to high school here and I hated high school. Like, I'm sure a lot of you can relate, especially in a small town. Like, there's just so many cliques and drama. There's so many reasons why I hated growing up in a small town, because I feel like I'm just such a person that always wanted to stand out and like do silly TikToks and creatively express myself with like what I'm doing right now, like YouTube and vlogging. Like, I absolutely love this stuff, and I did pursue like TikTok in high school and got bullied for it. High school was just not fun for me at all. I will say one of the highlights of high school was meeting a boy in junior year or senior year. I think it was my junior year. I met a boy and his name was Ty, which I'm sure the name sounds familiar by now, but I met him and immediately was just like starstruck by this boy. Just like looks wise, he was just my type to a T. I've recently even like gone back on our old messages, and it's so funny how I like try to play it cool, like I didn't like him that much, but I really did. I remember we went to a bonfire that night and I wasn't going to go, but if Ty was going, I was gonna be there. And little did I know that night was going to change my whole life, because it's so crazy. I told him the other day laying in bed how we met in high school and now we have a house together. Like, that's just so crazy to me. Ever since that night, we kicked it off. We started dating for a little bit, and then I think it was an age difference thing where I was a little bit older and was going into college, was looking for something like serious. I feel like I've always been a hopeless romantic, and him being a freshman or sophomore at the time, I don't think that he was as serious in a relationship as I would have liked him to be. So I kind of broke it off and we went our separate ways, but we've always like talked now and then. Like, we'd always get back together, we would always hang out. Like, it was just always him. By the way, using Makeup by Mario eyeshadow palette. But honestly, that was really only one of the few things that I enjoyed about that town and living in a place where everybody knew everyone and nobody would let you grow. Like, if you wanted to do something new and try something new and be a person, like a new person that you weren't yesterday. Like, I wanted to grow and achieve things and try new things, but a small town, everybody just judges you and there's so much drama. That is just one of the things I hated about a small town. And it was always my dream to move to LA and to live in LA. Like, I quickly realized that I had such a love and a passion for film and production. It was actually in my film and production class in high school where I was applying for colleges and trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I just looked around and thought, you know, well, I love doing this so much. Why not get a degree in film and production and see where it goes? And that was honestly another great decision that I have done in my life. My film and production teacher, his name is Mr. Holloway, changed my life as well, which is so crazy because you never really know in that moment that like a decision or a person is going to 9 years up the road change your life or still be in your life. You just never know. So if you're in a place where you're questioning your decisions or you're not sure if you're on the right path, try to have a little hope that everything is going to work out exactly how it's supposed to. There's this quote where it says that anything that is meant for you will not get away. And I knew in high school that me and Ty were just like meant to be together. So as I started my college journey, which just now seems like a fever dream, I can't believe that I have already in my life went to college, got a college degree, moved to LA, had the best time of my life. We will get into that, so bear with me for the rest of the story and for things that I have learned moving to LA and a few other reasons why I just had to leave. But if you're wondering, like, why didn't you just move to LA, go to school in LA? I tried. It was my freshman year of college, my very first year. I did some research and talked to my counselor of how I can maybe transfer to a film school in LA. Like, I actually want to go to a film school and pursue this. Like, I enjoy it so much. And if any of you have ever done out-of-state college tuition, I applaud you, because when I saw the out-of-state college tuition prices, my jaw dropped. I could not even imagine paying that. It was probably like 3 times the amount that I paid for in-state college. So my dreams quickly got shattered there of ever going to a film school. Thankfully, later down the road in college, I studied abroad in Germany for half a year and went to an actual film school there and learned so much, had the time of my life. But it was always in the back of my head, my dream is to move to LA, like where things happen, where dreams come true, the heart of the film industry. Like, I just knew that's where I wanted to be. After graduating college in 3 years, because I worked my booty off to make sure that I could graduate early and not have to pay a whole another year of tuition, which now that I'm paying off my student loans, I am so happy that I did that, because college is expensive. And if you aren't someone that followed the social norm and went to college and did all that, and you are thriving in life without a college degree, then good for you. I probably could have gotten a job in what I do without going to college. But again, everything happens for a reason, and I'm still glad that I went. So yes, after 3 long years of studying and making friends and partying and having a great college experience, I finally moved to LA, which I will give you a backstory of that as well. The summer before I graduated in 2017, or no, I graduated college in 2020. I graduated high school in 2017. Let me go wet my beauty blender real quick. Okay, where was I? The backstory of how I got to LA. Yes, okay. So the summer before I graduated, I actually spent a whole summer in LA. I booked an Airbnb for 3.5 months for summer, which was honestly the amount that I would like pay for rent anyways if I were just to like move there for 3 months. So booked an Airbnb. She was the most amazing host. Like, she had a son that was around my age and we hung out, and it just kind of felt like a little family. Like, I forgot about that whole experience, honestly, but I like moved in with someone for 3 months, worked at American Eagle just to kind of see how I liked LA, and I knew that I would, because like, how could you dream of a place for so long and then get there and just like, I feel like LA is very what you see like in the movies, in the pictures, in the videos. It really is like that. It's just a go, go, go busy town. People go there to make things happen, dreams come true. Like, it's beautiful. The warm weather, the palm trees, the beaches, it's just everything that you see in the movies. And I fell in love with it so quickly. Like, I made friends through working through American Eagle, and I actually met a guy that I was working with that we kicked it off, and that is how I moved to LA. He actually asked me to be his girlfriend. We did long distance for a little bit, but then we decided like when I graduate college, I still want to move down to LA, but like we decided to just move in together. So we got a studio apartment together, and that is where everything just started. I moved to LA with no film and production job lined up, barely any money, just graduated college, was not sure how I was going to get into the field. I was applying every single day for jobs. Like, I would not give up. Like, I knew I had to get a job. Like, in film and production, I knew I had no choice. Even though rent, like, we got so lucky finding an apartment because I wasn't living there. I couldn't really tour. Like, I didn't have a lot of rental history, so we got denied and denied and denied for so many places until we got a studio apartment that was $1,300, which was so nice for me just coming out of college and still working part-time at American Eagle to pay $750 of rent per month, which studio apartments I will go into in a little bit. But after applying and applying, I actually found a job that I fell in love with. His name was Marcel. He was honestly my age, but so successful. He was a public speaker, he was a hypnotist that did like success coaching with hypnotism, and he really helped me kickstart my career of film and production. I started as an editor, and then actually a week into the job he brought me to the Maldives with him to be the filmer, and I just had the most amazing time working with him. It wasn't like a 9-to-5 like healthcare benefits type of job. It was more like a freelance job, but I got paid, you know. Eventually quit my job at American Eagle and did that full time, but it was just such an amazing job, and I knew that I would find something because there's so many opportunities in LA, like for anything you want to do, really. There's just so many creative people and connections that you can make, and like you could go on the street and do like silly TikToks or play like instruments and try and earn money, and like no one will judge you. No one will judge you for who you want to be, who you want to become, like what you are trying to do, because everybody is just focused on themselves there. And that is something that I appreciated about LA so much, because growing up in a small town, I never felt comfortable branching out of the person that everyone knew me to be, just like the shy, nice girl and played by the rules. I wanted to go to LA and bend the rules and really figure out who I was and pursue like my passion in film and grow my social medias and like tell a story of my life and inspire other people. Like that is something that I so quickly was able to do there. Like I became a whole different person than I was like when I left Oregon. That job was just honestly a dream come true. Like I got to travel so much, and that was something I wanted, was to have a film and production job where I could travel and like have fun and do what I love. And eventually, after a while, I think a year and a half, I got another job, which I have right now, where I can work from home and edit YouTube videos. And it's just been a cycle of opportunities there. I got my first car and paid off one of my student loans, really got into social media and like got verified on Snapchat, met the craziest people, like had the craziest connections. If you were expecting this video to be trash talking LA, then I'm sorry, it is not, because I truly did love it. And when I was there, saw myself and told myself that I was going to live there and raise a family there, because I could never afford to go there when I was younger and like start a life there that I wanted to do so bad. So I told myself I'm going to be here for a very long time, and I just absolutely loved it there. So after, as you probably knew what happened with the guy I was telling you about, we moved in together, we broke up, I moved to downtown LA, and living in downtown LA, that was another dream of mine, to have a apartment in the city where I could see the city view, like have windows of the city. Like that was just an absolute hi, I'm vlogging.
Oh.
Are you leaving? Okay. Good morning. Should I continue? Are you gonna watch? Anyways, my downtown apartment, I hope that I can overlay something here, because for those who are new, I do have vlogs of me in my downtown apartment, but it was small, but more than I can ever ask for. It felt like home. It was so fun to just like every day go on a walk in the city. I could go to the mall, I could go to cafes, I could go to restaurants. I could set my tripod up in the middle of a crowd and take pictures and nobody would care. I did some of the craziest things while I was living in downtown, and I also had some crazy experience with like some of the homeless, because I was kind of close to Skid Row, but that's a whole nother story. Of course, in every big city there is going to be the homeless people and the crime, but that never got me down. I was thriving. I found myself even more. I found my style, my taste, the clothes that I like to wear, like the music taste that I like. Like I was so confident in who Stephanie was, and just like being on my own in a huge city, just I can become whoever I wanted to be. It was just so freeing, and I don't regret any of it, even though I really did fall into a deep depression living there after a while, because previously I had like my ex-boyfriend, who was my boyfriend at the time, and then when we broke up, I had nobody. Like it was just me, and I had a few friends, but I quickly realized that they were fake friends, and I had my depressive episode and just cut them all off. Like I cut everybody off. I even cut my family off for a while and became very depressed and lonely. And that is one thing about LA and the city, is that everybody is there to chase a dream, or they grew up there and they've adapted to the lifestyle. But LA is really just a very fast-paced, focused on the grind, focused on the work, which is something that I loved to do for a while. Like for years, I was obsessed with growth and work, and that's all I cared about, was just bettering myself. And I didn't care if I didn't have anybody, because I was doing it for myself and doing it on my own. But then there was days where I would get sick and I didn't have anybody to feed me soup, and my family was still in Oregon, so far away. And no wonder I became so depressed, because now that I have such a great community of friends and family, like that is something that is so important and way better than having like a luxurious lifestyle in LA. Like to have real friends that care about you is priceless. So as much as I loved and appreciated the grind and how much I really grew as a person, it does get really lonely. And through struggle after struggle, I realized, like with my job I have now, like I could never afford anything more than a studio apartment. I could never really raise a family here unless like I get some super crazy raise, or just like even being with a partner. Like it really is hard to make it big out there. Like you have to be so focused on the grind, or get a partner that is also about the grind and like willing to help. You know, with all the studio apartments that I had, like I could never get a 1-bedroom, and that was the goal, to at least have a 1-bedroom. But I lived in 3 studio apartments when I was there. I never had a full-size kitchen. I never had a full-size fridge. I didn't care. I went through the struggles because I loved the city so much and I loved that freedom. But then when I started visiting Oregon, I got in contact, of course, with Ty again, and we started talking, and it was the whole fairy tale ending where we both said, let's not catch feelings, because I still live in LA and he still lives here. But then I found myself every other month spending a month in LA, spending a month in Oregon to be with him, and then eventually I just took my car up there. I drove to Oregon and packed up a lot of my stuff and just said, this is going to be the last time that I go back and forth. Like I will continue to pay rent for the rest of my lease in LA, but I want to stay here with you, and I want to grow this and make sure that the next few months, like if we can grow a relationship and start something together, or else like I'm going to continue my life in LA, even though it was getting so lonely, despite how much I absolutely adored the beaches. Like the beach was something that made me so happy. Like I loved the warm weather, I loved the sand, I loved going in the water. I could be at the beach all day, every day. I loved the palm trees. I didn't mind the traffic. Like I could sit in my car and listen to music longer. I just didn't mind it. I will say, if you're not a traffic person, that is another thing that people love to bash on and point out is, oh, there's so much traffic. But for a girl like me whose dream it was to live there, like I just put all that aside because I was living my dream life there. I truly was. But going back to, like I said, I could just have never afforded anything more than a studio apartment. Like I had student loans to pay off, like I have bills. It's hard being an adult, and it's especially hard being an adult in LA, a young adult. I'm 26, but I moved when I was 21 at the time. So as the years went on, I was just really looking for security and safety, and like I just wanted somewhere where I could settle down, because year after year after year I would pack up boxes, I would move my whole apartment, I would start a new life in a new place, in a new studio apartment. I was tired of moving, I was tired of being alone. So once me and Ty actually got into a relationship, it took him a while because he and I were just both skeptical, but of course it finally happened, and here we are. It was back in August now, I think, where I brought Ty with me. We flew down to LA, got all my stuff, packed it up in storage, and started a new chapter of moving back to my hometown, which is something that I never thought I would do. Like I said, I always thought I would live out my life in LA and start a family there, but it is such a clear night and day difference of the lifestyles, like the grind and the work and the self-growth. But like I could also have some of that while having a community with friends and family and a good relationship, and being able to afford a house. Like if I ever wanted something like this that I have right now in LA, I couldn't. It's just so hard, and it's expensive, and there's taxes, and there's not taxes here in Oregon. Not to go too in depth of the comparison between California and Oregon. I know it's different everywhere, like where you might live, but I do just want to reiterate why I left LA. The obvious, for my boyfriend now, but also because it was just getting so lonely. I was tired of not having real friends, and I would meet people and they just were never the type of friend that was down to just like hang out and chill. I was always the person that was like the last person they would text if they didn't have anyone to go out with, and they would bail on me all the time. I was tired of having fake friends. I was tired of living in such small spaces, not being able to have any like spending money and personal money for myself, because it would all go towards rent. Because studio apartments, the next one I moved to downtown, that was $1,400. The next one was $1,600. It was hard, expensive, hard. People aren't the greatest, which if you're just gonna mind your own business and do your own thing is fine, but eventually you're gonna realize what truly matters in life, which is the people you surround yourself with, the friendships and relationships that you have. Like, that is what people are going to remember you by, and like that is how you're gonna leave your mark, is with the people you love. And it really is not all about like the grind and work. And as much as I love work and I love my job and I love what I do, I've tried to learn how to not make it so much like my personality and like my whole life. Like, there's so much more to life than just like going to LA, living out your dreams. Like, do it, definitely do it. Like, if you've ever thought about moving to LA or like have always wanted to go to LA, like I cannot express to you enough how much it has changed my life. Part of me even wishes that I was able to spend more time there, because I feel like I only scratched the surface of the beaches and the hikes and the cafes and the restaurants. There's so much to do there. That's another thing I loved. Like, the amount of things that you could do there is endless. I'm a nature person, and there were beautiful hikes you could go on. Of course, I'm a beach person. Like, there's so many beaches other than just Santa Monica and Malibu, like so many in between there. I found my favorite beaches, my favorite restaurants. I did everything by myself, and although now I don't mind doing things by myself, in the back of my head there was always like, man, I wonder what this would feel like or be like with someone that I love, and to share this moment with someone that I love. Again, if it's something that you want to do and are scared to do it, I would say just do it. Like, take risks in life. The risks that I have taken in my life have come out to be the best decisions I've ever made. Save up some money, you know, find apartments, go out there, even spend a summer there to see if you like it. And I guarantee you, if you are like me and don't mind the traffic and the people not being so nice and talkative, like, you're gonna love it. I loved it. Not everybody likes it, but for a lost little girl who didn't really know who she was, like, I found myself. I was able to do and accomplish things that I never really thought would be possible. I thought they would only be my dreams, and I got to live out so many of my dreams, and I still am to this day while being in Oregon. Like, it doesn't have to be the location. As much as I loved having Los Angeles in my bio, like, I love having a house and friends and family and a good relationship even more. So yes, a lot of the reasons why I felt like my time in LA was over was because my values changed. Like, my values of pursuing film and production and living out a luxurious lifestyle then changed to feeling whole and like having my heart be happy elsewhere with people and my dog, and just little moments like last night we were all with our friends and just laughing. Like, just moments like that is so much more worth it to me than being the bougie girl from LA. So as this video is coming to an end, I'm gonna set my face with some One Size. So to conclude my thoughts, just do whatever makes you happy. Live out your dreams. If you want to move to another city, if you want to move out or leave your boyfriend and so, like, be alone for a few years, just do it, do it, do it. You never know what's gonna come of it. You never know what is going to happen. Even if you do struggle, even if you do have a hard time, those struggles are going to present you new opportunities, and you're going to find yourself right where you need to be, and you're going to be able to sit down like I'm right now and look at your past and realize that everything was supposed to happen this way. I was meant to go to college in Oregon, and then I was meant to go to LA, scared out of my mind, and find myself, and then realize that my values are changing and growing old, and wanting to settle down into a house doesn't seem so bad. Like I was just gonna be the cool aunt that traveled and was on my own, but who knows, now like a few years down the road I could be the cool mom. It's just all about what you really want to do in your life, and it's okay, your values can change, like your mind can change, things can happen, and it might seem like the end of the world or it might seem scary, but it's gonna put you right where you need to be, and at least you can look back and say that you took the risk and that you tried, because that is a lot better and a lot less scarier to me than looking back and saying, I wish I did that. I wonder what would have happened if I packed up all my things and moved to LA. Like I wonder this, like I wonder that, what if this? Like that's a lot scarier to me than to actually just like do it. You just have to do it. I know that might seem overwhelming and it's a lot easier to say than to do. Trust me. There's been so many times in my life the past 3-4 years, like going to LA and then coming back to Oregon, starting in Oregon. There's been so many times where I was like, I am at my lowest point. I think I've probably said that 3 times the past few years. Like I'm at my lowest. Like where am I going to end up? Like how will this end for me? And it's just not the ending, you guys. It never is. If it feels like it, it just means that it's the beginning of something new, and you are the only person that can create those beginnings or create those endings and put it in your head like it's going to be okay. No matter how many times I thought it wasn't going to be okay, I can tell you right now, sitting in my office chair in my empty office of my 2-story house that I have with my boyfriend and my dog, it is going to be okay. You're going to be fine. And if it's not, then take that like as a blessing that something better is coming for you. So guys, thank you so much for getting ready with me. I hope I didn't chat too long. I might even cut some of this out because I could chat forever. I have always wanted to talk about this subject and have just didn't want to bore you guys with all this information because it's a lot, but I do feel like I wanted to tell my story and kind of explain why I left LA, because in the vlogs it may seem a little broad and it may seem a little confusing and there might be gaps, but hopefully this filled in some gaps. You guys are all caught up. Hopefully this inspired you. Like that is something that I would love to do with my channel, is not only provide some sort of entertainment but also inspiration, because I feel like I have learned so much from being this shy little girl to the person I am today, and I do want to share that with you for anyone who was a me. Just do what makes you happy. I love you guys and I will see you next week.